The high-pitched whine of propellers was suddenly cut off by a massive splash. I ran to the edge of the pool just in time to see the blinking green lights of my $5,000 DJI Mavic 3 Cine sinking to the bottom of the deep end. Time seemed to slow down. I saw the bubbles rising. I saw the expensive Hasselblad camera lens facing upward, capturing its final, watery view of the world. I didn't think. I didn't check my pockets.
I dove in.
The water was cold. I kick hard, my eyes stinging from the chlorine, reaching for the sinking grey shape. My hand closed around one of the rotor arms just as it hit the drain cover at the bottom. I kicked back to the surface, gasping for air, holding the drone above my head like a sacrificial offering. I threw it onto the dry concrete of the pool deck and pulled myself out. My phone, in my pocket, was vibrating. Ruined. My wallet was soaked. But I didn't care. I scrambled over to the drone. Water was pouring out of the battery vents. The gimbal was limp. The lights were dead. "Oh God," I whispered. "No, no, no." This wasn't a toy. This was my livelihood. I am a freelance cinematographer. This drone was booked for a commercial shoot tomorrow morning, a $2,000 job. And the drone itself cost $5,000, plus the accessories. I looked up. Standing by the patio table, holding my remote controller, was my neighbor's kid, Tyler, 9M. He was grinning. He looked like he had just won a video game. I made a submarine. Tyler shouted. My neighbor, Brenda, was sitting in a lounge chair, scrolling on her phone. She looked up at the commotion. "Tyler, honey, stop yelling," she said lazily. Then she saw me, dripping wet, kneeling over the drone. "Up. Why are you swimming in your clothes?" "He crashed it," I choked out, pointing a shaking finger at Tyler. He grabbed the controller while I was changing the ND filter. He flew it into the pool. I was piloting. Tyler bragged, mashing the joysticks on the controller, my $1,200 RC Pro controller, with his wet, sticky hands. "Put that down." I roared. Tyler dropped the controller. It clattered onto the concrete patio. Crack. One of the joysticks snapped off. "Oops," Tyler said. Brenda stood up, looking annoyed. "Don't yell at him, OP. He's just playing. You shouldn't have had your toys out if you didn't want him to touch them." "Toys?" I stood up, water pooling around my feet. "Brenda, this is a DJI Mavic 3 Cine. It costs $5,000. The controller he just smashed is another $1,000. He just destroyed $6,000 of professional equipment in 10 seconds. Brenda rolled her eyes. $6,000? Stop lying. I saw drones at Walmart for $40. You're just trying to make me feel bad because you were careless. Careless? I stepped toward her. I was working. I was testing the calibration. He trespassed onto my patio and grabbed the remote. "He's a child," she snapped. "He saw a remote and wanted to play. It's your fault for leaving it within reach. And honestly, it's just a drone. Put it in some rice. It'll be fine." Rice. I stared her. It was submerged in chlorinated water. The electronics are fried. Rice doesn't fix a shorted motherboard. "You're being dramatic," she huffed. "Come on, Tyler. Let's go home. Your neighbor is having a tantrum." She grabbed Tyler's hand. "If you leave," I said, my voice low and dangerous, "I'm calling the police." "Call them," she laughed. "Tell them a kid drowned your toy. See if they care." She walked out of the gate. I looked at the drone. Smoke was starting to wisp out of the battery compartment. The smell of burning lithium filled the air. She thought it was a toy. She thought rice would fix it. I pulled the battery out before it could explode. I looked at the ruined camera sensor. I wasn't going to put it in rice. I was going to put it in an evidence bag. The hissing sound from the battery grew louder. A thin tendril of grey smoke curled up from the vents. "Get back!" I shouted at Brenda, who had stopped near the gate to dig for her car keys. "This battery is reacting. It could burst." I grabbed the drone by the tip of a propeller arm and flung the battery pack onto the stone pavers, away from anything flammable. It popped and sizzled, leaking a dark, toxic fluid. "Oh my God!" Brenda shrieked. "You almost hit Tyler. You are psychotic." I am trying to prevent a fire. I yelled, my hand shaking. The lithium is shorting out because your son drowned it. Brenda walked back over, looking at the smoking battery with disdain. Well, you clearly bought a cheap one if it explodes just because it got a little wet. My iPhone is waterproof. Why isn't your fancy helicopter waterproof? Because it flies. I screamed. It needs air vents for cooling. It is an open circuit device. It is not a submarine. Well, he just wanted to film the water, she defended Tyler, who was now poking the ruined controller with his toe. He was being artistic. You should support his creativity instead of screaming about money. I picked up the main drone body. Water drained from the Hasselblad lens housing like a tear. Brenda, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. This lens alone is worth more than your handbag. The internal SSD has client footage on it. The gimbal motors are seized. It is dead. There is no fixing this. You are so dramatic, she rolled her eyes. I told you. Rice. Just go get a big bag of rice, bury it in there for 24 hours, and it will be fine. It sucks the moisture out. Everyone knows that. Rice is for dinner. I snapped. Rice does not remove chlorine corrosion from a motherboard. Rice does not fix a shorted image sensor. This is a total loss. You just want a new one, she accused, narrowing her eyes. You're trying to scam me. You dropped it in the pool on purpose to get an upgrade.
I dove in fully clothed.
I gestured to my soaking wet jeans. My phone is dead. My wallet is ruined. That's your own fault for jumping in, she shrugged. You should have used a net. Look, I'm done with this. You are scaring Tyler. We are leaving. You owe me $6,000, I said, blocking her path. 5 for the drone, 1 for the controller, and another 1,000 for the job I'm going to lose tomorrow. Brenda laughed. $7,000? In your dreams. I'll buy you a bag of rice. That's my offer. Take it or leave it. I'm filing a police report, I said. And I'm suing you. Go ahead, she sneered. Sue me over a toy. The judge will laugh at you. And I'll tell the whole neighborhood you're a bully who hates children. She grabbed Tyler's hand and pushed past me. I stood there, shivering in the cool evening air, dripping wet. The battery had finally stopped smoking, leaving a black scorch mark on my patio. She thought rice would fix a fried motherboard. She thought I was the villain. I walked into my house, trailing water on the hardwood. I went to my office and pulled out the original box and receipt.
DJI Mavic 3 Cine Premium Combo, 4,999 pesos.
DJI Care Refresh, expired last week $0. I wasn't covered. I sat down at my desk, wet clothes and all. I wasn't going to the grocery store for rice. I was going to the repair center for a forensic report. And then, I was going to the courthouse. I didn't sleep that night. I spent the time documenting everything. I took photos of the battery scorch marks. I took video of the water dripping from the gimbal. The next morning, I drove to the nearest authorized DJI repair center. The technician, Mike, took one look at the drone and shook his head. Pool? He asked. Pool, I confirmed. It's a paperweight, Mike said. The chlorine eats the contacts instantly. The main board, the ESCs, the vision sensors, the camera, it's all toast. And the controller? That joystick is snapped at the stem. It's unfixable. He printed out a formal damage assessment. Diagnosis: severe liquid damage of physical trauma. Repair cost: exceeds replacement value. Total replacement value: $6,198, drone plus controller plus tax. I added the $2,000 lost fee from the cancelled shoot. Total claim: $8,198. The invoice. I sent Brenda a certified letter. I knew texting her would just result in more insults. 2 days later, she pounded on my door. What is this? She screamed, waving the paper in my face. $8,000? You are trying to ruin me. I'm trying to be made whole, I said calmly. Your son destroyed my livelihood. I'm not paying, she yelled. I spoke to my friends on Facebook and they said you should have had insurance. It's not my fault you're irresponsible. I am responsible, I said. I am responsible enough to know that when you break something, you buy it. See you in court. The court case. I filed in small claims court. The limit in my state is $10,000. Brenda showed up with a bag of rice. I'm serious. She brought a bag of rice to court. Your Honor, she told the judge. He didn't even try to fix it. He just wants money. Everyone knows rice fixes wet phones. The judge, a stern woman who looked like she had zero patience for nonsense, stared at the bag of rice. The judge said, "This is not a phone. It is a complex aircraft. The plaintiff has provided an expert report stating the electronics were corroded by chlorine. Did your son throw it in the pool?" "He was playing." Brenda argued. "He destroyed property," the judge said. Judgment for the plaintiff. The verdict. The defendant is ordered to pay $8,198 plus court costs. Brenda turned purple. "I can't pay that. I have a car payment." "Then you shouldn't have let your son play with professional equipment," the judge said. The aftermath. She didn't pay. I garnished her wages. It took 2 years, but I got every cent. She moved out of the neighborhood 6 months later. I heard she told everyone I was a predator who targeted single moms. I bought a new drone. I bought 2, and I keep them in a locked safe. Every time I fly now, I check my surroundings. And if I see a kid, Elon, immediately. Because I learned that while drones can fly, common sense is often grounded.